when we meet. Let's take the good news and shout it in the street. Let's break the good news, though it seems too good to be true, that you'll soon marry me and I'll soon marry you. And we're gonna take a honeymoon cruise. Let's break the good news.
Right, so I've just left all Yeovil in Somerset to go to Germany. When I got to Germany, it was a totally different army. You could wear your civvies to go out in the evening, no bullshit, and I liked it quite a lot. And I settled down. I got a job. I was given a job like with a truck. I was given a truck to use, and I had a job to do every week, sometimes 2 or 3 times a week. I was doing the laundry, picking the laundry up and delivering it. And also I was doing the hospital run, taking people from the camp that had to go to the hospital. The British Military Hospital in Munster. Anyway, I was like a dog that's been let off a chain. I was out near enough every night, but I weren't getting enough money. So I had to think about how I was going to get money to go out every night. Anyway, on one of my runs to the laundry, on the way back with the new laundry, with the fresh laundry, there was a woman thumbing a lift. So I stopped and picked her up, and she spoke some English, and she said she wanted a lift the way I was going. So she got in the truck. So I said, well, where do you want to go? I'm pulling off soon, going into my camp. She said, I'll come in the camp with you, I'll come with you. She wouldn't get out of the car. Well, she had to get out of the car. I made her get in the car and get in the back of the truck. And I drove straight in the truck, because I never used to ever get stopped or anything like that. They knew who I was. I pulled round to the back of my billet, got her out, and set her up in what we called a blanco room at the end of the billet, the end of the big long billet what we had, with lots of rooms for 4 or 5 blokes in each room. Anyway, we set her up in there with a bed. We was feeding her, and everybody in the camp was coming visiting. And not only our camp, there was in my camp where I was, the service corps was 3 companies, and each company had over 100 men in it. So there was about 300 or so men in our camp. Then there was the 2nd RHA regiment, which was a tank regiment, and then there was the 2nd Tank Regiment itself. No, the 1st RHA it was, and the 2nd Tank Regiment, and they had well over 200 men in each. So we had a lot of visitors. Anyway.
Did they pay you?
Sorry?
Did they pay you?
No, they never paid me. I took my cut off of them, and then they went and gave her them. But they didn't all pay money, because she wanted coffee, because coffee was a means of a valuable means. So if any of the blokes could get coffee, packets of coffee, she'd do it for a packet of coffee. Anyway, this went all right for a couple of weeks, and then there was going to be an inspection, a camp inspection, where they come round and you've got to do a kit layout, and they come round and inspect all your kit and everything, make sure it's all serviceable. Anyway, so she had to get out, and the week I took the laundry down, we put her in a blanket and tipped her on the back of the truck with all the dirty laundry and took her out. Anyway, that ended that little episode. But I made a few bob out of that. Then there was the company workers, like, who worked in the company office. They were service corps blokes, but they weren't drivers like me. They were clerks, and I was friendly with one of the clerks. And they used to give out cigarette coupons to buy your cigarettes out of the naffy, and they were only £1 a packet. I think we got something like about 200 a week to be able to buy. They wouldn't give us too much because they knew we'd sell them. But anyway, this bloke gave me more coupons, and I bought the cigarettes, took them down to town and sold them for more than double what I paid for them. And I also give him some of the money, like, for the extra coupons. That was that little episode. What other tricks did I get up to? Oh, on one of my runs, I decided to visit a scrap merchant. And I got friendly with the blokes out of the 2nd Tank Regiment who was coming over to see the lady that we had. And they said they've got loads of tank tracks lying about. Used where they'd changed the tracks on the tank. There's all these old tank tracks and everything lying about. And if I bring the truck around to them, they'd load them up. So we done that one night. The next morning I go out on my run to the laundry. After I do the laundry trick, I go to the scrapyard and sell all these tank tracks, all this cast iron tank tracks and steel bits of steel rims and everything. And I got a nice bit of money out of that. Anyway, later we had a rifle practice on the rifle range. And I thought, what they're doing with all these used cartridges, these brass cartridges, they're picking them all up, putting them in the empty boxes, and they take them into the camp and put them in a camp, in a big missinut in the camp. All empties, no live rounds or anything, but all empty cartridges. So I thought, well, the brass is worth more money than the iron. So one night I done the lock on the missinut where the cartridges were, loaded up, and put a spare lock that I found, an army lock that I got hold of. I put that on my lock on the door so it wouldn't be noticed. And the next morning, when I was going on the laundry run the next week, I took the stuff to the scrap merchant that I took the iron to. And he went mad. He wouldn't have them. Like, he said no, he'd get locked up. Like, you know, he went calaboose, and he wouldn't take them. So I couldn't unload them there. He wouldn't let me unload them or anything. I had to take them to a tip, and I dumped them in a tip where they dumped all rubbish, like in a landfill site. I dumped them there. So that was that episode. I'll carry on with it later. Bye.
Let's break the good news to everyone we meet. Let's take the good news and shout it in the street. Let's break the good news, though it seems too good to be true, that you'll soon marry me and I'll soon marry you, and we're gonna take